The What to Read Next podcast helps you build a TBR of future favorite books. In each episode, Lori and Mean interviews authors and book influencers to recommend books they loved for you to pick up today. If you're an avid reader, always looking for your next great read, then the show's for you. Hi, Elodie. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi, really lovely to be here. Thank you.
So happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've written a historical novel called The Wolf Den, which is the first in a trilogy set in ancient Pompeii, reimagining the lives of the women who lived there, in particular a group of women who worked at the Lupana, which is the brothel, which still survives today, in fact.
Oh my gosh. So what was the source of inspiration? What was the research like?
So Pompeii itself is extraordinarily well preserved after Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. So, you've got a lot of the buildings, objects, paintings, mosaics from that period. And you've got the town brothel, which is the only surviving brothel of the ancient world. And it's sort of a big hit on the tourist trail. It's got erotic frescoes, the cells where the women worked survive. But the women are still quite objectified, really, in how it's kind of looked at. So it's this really vivid and haunting place. But at the same time, the women themselves feel quite forgotten as people. I wanted to really sort of think about what their lives were like, what their characters might have been. We've got some of their graffiti on the walls still, because, the preservation in Pompeii is kind of extraordinary. So that's really where the book kind of comes from. And then it's imagining the life of one of the women in particular, Amara, who is, who was born free. But like a lot of people in the ancient world, after her family fell into destitution, they lost all their money. She became enslaved. So it's really kind of her, so like a lot of people in the ancient world, were sold into slavery as a means of survival if their families fell on really hard times. And that's what happens to Amara. So really, the trilogy is about her journey. She starts off in the Lupana of Pompeii, and it's how she tries to get her freedom back.
And so what was the process of writing this book? Like, are you still writing the trilogy?
Yeah, so I've written the first two books, and I'm in the process of writing the third. So in the US, the first book comes out at the end of March, and the second one in the fall, and the third one next year. So
let's chat some book recommendations. Do you have any books to recommend our listeners to pick up?
So if they're interested in sort of ancient world retellings, I think a really fabulous new author is Jennifer Saint. She wrote Ariadne, which is out already, and also Electra, which is coming out, I think, in May. But she does a fantastic job of retelling ancient Greek myths in a really dynamic, fresh kind of way, very feminist, fabulous characters. So I definitely recommend her work, I would say.
I love this. And what are you currently reading?
So I'm reading Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sulin Tan, which is absolutely wonderful. It's just sort of beautifully evocative, and it's got a great central character, so I'm enjoying that very much.
Ooh, that sounds good. Tell us where you can find you online.
So my website is elodieharper.com, and I'm also on Instagram as Elodie L. Harper.
Awesome. Thank you, Elodie, for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share with friends, subscribe, rate, and review the show. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. Today's episode's partner is Libra FM. If you're an audiobook listener, then you should add Libra FM as your go-to source for paid audiobooks. Libra FM makes it possible for you to buy audiobooks through your local bookstore. Memberships start at $14.95, and they also have great sales for women's audiobooks each month for $3.99, thanks to the Kiss Club. To sign up for Libra FM, please visit whattoreadnextblog.com/LibraFM. You will receive a free audiobook when you sign up for a monthly subscription. If you purchase a subscription through our link, you will be supporting the podcast at no cost to you. The What to Read Next podcast is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. Please visit frolic.media/podcast to discover new shows to tune in. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.